Hey guys, so for this discussion board, I'm going to be looking at this book, Going Blue. So the main author of this book is Philippe Cousteau, and it's actually cool because the book contains a little foreword here. Oops, here it is. Which is actually just his little bio over here. And then this little message from him that goes on for a few pages here. And so this is a work of nonfiction that talks about conservation and how it pertains to the oceans and how we need to be saving the oceans. And Philippe Cousteau, he's the co-founder of the Ocean Conservation and Education Organization, Earth Echo International. And he's actually the grandson of that great explorer, Jacques Cousteau. And so he knows what he's talking about. And this is a little bit of his background, what he's done, and then his little call to action, as this section is titled. So he is the author. Well, he mostly collected the information and the stories that are included in this book. And then the images in this book, actually most of them are either diagrams, which are sourced, or they are photographs, which have captions and their sources on them as well. So that is where a lot of the images come from in here, and we will see more of those as we talk about the spreads. So I actually made this selection because this is a book that I had to use for one of my other classes, and I absolutely loved it. And I gave it to my younger siblings, and they loved it, and I really want to talk about this book more because I think it's fantastic and a great work of nonfiction. So basically the way that this book is organized, it breaks down this model for sort of getting involved with ocean conservation and environmental issues. So there are these 5 stages, and that's how it's sort of laid out. So some interesting things I learned reading this book. First of all, it has a great feature where in every single section it talks about things that kids have done, like other real kids. So one of the first things I learned is that kids can start their own organizations that can make a huge impact. Some other interesting things, it takes 700 gallons of water to make a cotton t-shirt. It takes about 3 times more water to manufacture a water bottle than a water bottle can actually hold. In America, we have endangered rivers in addition to just all of our endangered plants and animals. Half of the Earth's population lives near coastal areas. The nets that we use for fishing, like big scale fishing, they ruin the ocean floor. They just dredge all the coral. It's compared in this book to a plow just running down the forest to grab all of its crops. And we can actually only drink 1% of all the water on the Earth. Alright, so in terms of the evaluation of this book, so like we saw over here, our author, he is very credible, so the accuracy in this book is really great. He is a prominent figure in the world of marine health, and this book has so many citations, and the entire back section of this book is a link of, this is their index, and then they have, they have all these pages where it talks about their images, the things that they have said, and it links to just national databases and websites from where they got all of their facts and all of their images. So that's really good. There's a really clear link to these under every single image. It talks about the title and where you can find it in the back of the book. So that's really great. It's clear to see how these are accurate facts. It is based on that very factual, not so interpretive. There's a bit of inquiry because it does go into questions about possible future effects and things like that, but it is primarily just factual. In terms of its structure, it is rather combined. There are some parts where it's just narrative, but then there are some parts where it's definitely expository. It goes into the nitty-gritty and behind-the-scenes details of the true facts about the ocean. I don't know how to say that unless of a weird newspaper describing way. But it does. So some of it is, when I did this, I did that. And that's a lot of the teen stories. And a lot of it is, did you know that your water... So it's pretty cool. In terms of the style, so here's the title on the front here. It's a play on Going Green, of course. So it's Going Blue because this is about the ocean. And it is not written to be funny. It's written to be rather serious, but it's definitely written in a way that appeals to teens. So it doesn't have like really big complex sentences, and it doesn't have like horrible words. It's just very it's an easy read. It's conversational when you're reading it. And the descriptive language is really good. It has a lot of big sciencey words as it needs to, but like you can see here, if a word is used that they think that students may not be familiar with, it's then defined. It's bolded and defined in the margins, which is really, really nice. The point of view is third person and all of it. It's sometimes there are quotes here from the students, and those are in the first person, but the rest of it is written rather third person like. There aren't any speech bubbles or anything, but again, there are these little quotes, and there's these little like pull out sections like these. So those are sort of like speech bubbles. In terms of organizational tools, like I showed you before, there is that backing. Here is the table of contents. It's broken up into color-coded sections, which are really nice with all the page numbers, and it talks about what everything is. So here you get a great overview of just what's going on in the entire book. In the back, we saw the index. Yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. The glossary is sort of just spread out throughout the book. Here's the facts again. So again, like the glossary, it's just where those words are bolded and then drawn off to the side. The timeline, so again, it's sort of broken down into this, which you can see right here again, how the book goes. There's no big timeline of that kind of thing, but the bibliography and sources are again in the back. And the last page, very last page here, actually has more about these authors and the little secondary helper author there, who wrote this with Philippe Cousteau. So that is pretty cool. And then the graphics and visual features are awesome. There's a lot of photographs. This is an old photograph of the first aqualung, which is like the precursor to modern day scuba diving. But then there's also like these really nice little graphic images and these beautiful 2-page spreads, like the flowy spreads. Very, very cool. And they're used really efficiently. So for example, this one is talking about like the overall big picture of the ocean, so it's an overall big picture, which I think is really, really cool how they did that. On most of the pages, they're just these like, here's one page, here's another page, but again, there are several times in the book where you have these really nice big spreads, including anytime there is a new stage or section that you approach. There aren't any fold-outs. It's all just the pages that are there. These are all just my sticky notes. And yeah. So in terms of the text enhancing my understanding of the topic, it is really, really well written. It is fun to read. It's very interesting, and there's always like cool new stuff. I feel like the way that's broken up into images, these little reflection times, boxes, and bubbles, I think it does a really good job breaking up the read and making it more understandable. It really is a great book to read, and I loved it. I understand a lot more about the oceans, and I like this book a lot. I feel like it's really great. This book is actually listed as appropriate for children, reading levels grade 6 and interest level ages 11 and up. I do believe that you could stretch that to 10-year-old kids as well. I have a 10-year-old brother whom I recommended this book to, and he loved it. I think it's great for ambitious readers at that age who are just really interested in the environment or the oceans or learning about something new. The stories in here are mostly of high school students. There are some middle school students, and it's really great because I feel like it can take those younger kids and really inspire them. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. I loved it. My siblings loved it, and I think it does a great job just getting the point across and saying all the things it needs to say. It's beautiful. It's really, really well written, and I liked it a lot. So if you're interested, pick it up. It's great. Highly recommend. Thanks for watching.